for a greener and more sustainable future. To introduce our special guest, please welcome Dr. Saini Serna Nebrada, Hospital Director or Administrator.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. While in ACE we say it, ACE morning, everybody. ACE morning. Dr. Teodoro Teddy J. Herbosa is the 30th Secretary of Health of the Philippines, an internationally known trauma surgeon, an emergency medicine physician. Secretary Herbosa is a clinical sense of urgency to save lives, alongside broader health systems thinking and perspective. He is not new to the Department of Health, having served as an Undersecretary from 2010 to 2015. Secretary Herbosa also knows health and financing and social health insurance. Having served as member of the PhilHealth Board of Directors, he is also an academician, being an educator and professor at the UP College of Medicine, teacher of biosecurity for Masters in National Security Administration Program at the National Defense College of the Philippines, a senior fellow of the Philippine Public Safety College, where he teaches Masters in Crisis and Disaster Risk Management. And he is also an administrator, being former Executive Vice President of the University of the Philippines System. More importantly, he is an action man, demonstrated in his role as a concurrent special advisor of the country's National Task Force against COVID-19. A surgeon, an educator, a public servant. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary Teodoro A. Herbosa.
Maraming salamat for that very kind introduction. Dr. Saini Serna Nebrada. Sa ating chairman of the ACE Group of Hospitals, Amado Enriquez Jr. Actually, he was my consultant when I was a resident in surgery. He just came back from Spain and been trained in vascular surgery, and I had the privilege of assisting him in many surgical procedures as a resident and as a rotator in the thoracic and cardiovascular surgery section of PGH. Represented today here by Dr. Michael Edward Enriquez and the wife of Amado, Dr. Marlene Enriquez. Thank you very much. Good morning. To our president, Dr. Fredelyn Gallego Zamoro. You put my wife to tears in your story. The vice chairman, Dr. Antonio Montalban Jr., head of facilities and management and chair of the construction committee. Doon pa lang, alam mo na, pag nakikita ko yung mga orthopedic surgeon, may hawak na martilyo, chisel at ligare. Alam mo na, frustrated construction worker ng mga yan. So, pinigay nilang trabaho sa'yo. And congratulations, I think you did a good job on the first part. Next year, make everything work, di ba? To our members, to all the members of the board, binati na po kayo, all the doctors, nurses, staff of ACE, Butuan, to the representative of Attorney Joboy Aquino. Alam nyo, kaklase ko yun sa high school. Pero siya yung laging pinag-iikutan ng mga magagandang babae kasi mas guwapo sa akin. I think she's represented here by Attorney Christine Erno. To the esteemed school administrators, salamat, nandito kayo, yung mga state universities and college. I served as the Executive Vice President of the University of the Philippines, our largest university, so I know your ideals also in improving the level of our human capital. To the local chief executive from the different LGUs, kayo ang entrusted by the local autonomy code of the Philippines to take care of the health of the people. To hospital administrators in the different areas of Herbosa and Butuan, to the DOH officials that are here today, of course, the finance people, land bank is here. Health and financing are actually intertwined. Health and economics are intertwined. We learned that during COVID, di ba? You cannot have health if you don't have the money. You also cannot have money if you're not healthy. So we know how they are interrelated. To all the shareholders of ACE Butuan, of course, behind every successful man is a more successful woman. The president of the Philippine Board, the chair of the Philippine Board of Anesthesiology, my beautiful wife Grace, as well. So we're gonna kami nakikita. Since my life changed, to talk to me, she has to call my executive assistant. Nasabi sa akin, sir, tumawag kayo sa asawa niyo. Kailangan niyo rin kayo makausap. So, hindi ko kasi nasasagot na yung mga cellphone. Kaya yung mga kaibigan ko na nagsasabing, pinendelma ko na sila. Lahat kayo, hindi ko na mabasa yung aking cellphone sa kabisihan ng aking. So, ladies and gentlemen, malusog at masayang umaga sa inyong lahat. First of all, congratulations on this achievement. However you are, all of you that contributed to a dream and idea to become a reality today. It is historical because I'm standing in, I believe, the most modern health facility in the Caraga region. Tama ba yun? Takot ako, baka may ibang magsabi, mas modern sila. So, private sector engagement and public-private partnerships have been very important to me. In my past role as Undersecretary of Health, I was in charge of the Center for Public-Private Partnerships for Health. I was even sent to the UK to actually study in Her Majesty's Treasury, the Infrastructure UK, wherein they build health facilities through public-private partnership. And nakita ko yung mga mistakes nila in the first PPP hospitals they built and the later PPP hospitals they built. And this is something we can do actually, and that's why I think as Secretary of Health, this is the second private hospital that I have helped inaugurate. The first one was in Iloilo. ACE din dapat yun, ACE started it, but it's now called Asia Pacific. But this is the second private hospital that I've been involved. I have an invitation for the Ayala Cancer Center, which will be inaugurated soon in Taguig. And private sector engagement and public-private partnerships were also mentioned by our Honorable Excellency President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. in several of his speeches. A few months ago, your key officials here, the founding members of the board, underwent training that I actually developed. It's called Hospital Preparedness for Emergencies. We spent a week together in the top floor. Ay, kamusta pala yung mga nanonood dyan sa the 250 others watching from the venue where we actually stayed. This place was still under construction, a lot of dust, a lot of dirt. But we actually had 1 week together from 8 a.m. till almost 6 in the evening. Napilit namin mag-training yung mga key officials. And I hope that it's been a valuable reason because they invited me to come back when they will inaugurate. Ang swerte niyo, no? Because on June 5, my life changed because the President asked me to be the 30th Secretary of Health of the Republic of the Philippines. You know, some kind of it, no? Most of the Secretaries of Health are usually non-surgeons. There are only 3 that I recall that are surgeons. The first one was Enrique Garcia, the one that built Lung Center. He was a thoracic surgeon, lungs. The second one is another Enrique Ola. He was a transplant surgeon. So yung nauna thoracic, yung pangalawa transplant surgeon. So ako yung pangatlo, pero nadinig niyo ba ang specialty ko? Trauma surgery, kaya letter D. So siguro yung sa mga batang doktor dito, gusto nyo bang specialty? Humanap kayo ng starts with the letter D. So I'm truly delighted to address each and every one of you today, and I'd like to explain the Department of Health's 8-point action agenda. Actually, yung 8-point action agenda, you can actually Google it on the internet. was what I thought when I was called June 4, some undersecretary from the Office of the President, that Sunday, 6 p.m. May tumawag sa telepono ko, sabi niya, gusto ko kayo makausap ng Presidente, 4 o'clock tomorrow, which is the Monday. Tapos, hindi ko na siya kausap kasi binaba na yung telepono. So, hindi ko malaman kung sino yun. So, hindi ko alam kung prank. Kala ko, pinaprank lang ako. So the following day, when I went to Malacanang, my name was already there. So, sabi ko, hindi pala prank. But the night before, sabi ko, ano kaya, kung ko kakausapin ng Presidente, siguro interview na. Kasi I know I was one of those that are considered in the shortlist. Siguro interview na to. So I made my 8-point action agenda. My 8-point action agenda is actually my idea of what I do to implement universal healthcare. So, when I got there, talagang dalawa lang kami ni Berhere. Sabi ko, kami lang siguro yung dalawa. Pero nung pinapasok si Berhere, umupo ako. Akala ko, interview ko si Berhere. Sabi nung protocol officer, sir, sabay na ho kayo. Nagtaka ako, sabay na. So pag upo namin with the President, sabi ng President, Yusek Berhere, pwede ka na magpahinga. May Secretary of Health na ako, si Dr. Herbosa. Hindi man lang ako tinanong kung gusto mo mag-Secretary of Health. And then he looked at me and started ordering na all these active points. So, ayun, bago ang buhay ko after that. That actually changed my whole life. And the 8-point action agenda was actually adopted by the whole Department of Health. We now have an administrative order, and just yesterday, we actually had a launch of it for the sector, for everybody's sector, for deeper understanding, and we'll roll it out to Visayas and Mindanao, so that all people from the DOH can align themselves with it. And I do hope that the private sector will also align with that 8-point action agenda. It is critical that all stakeholders become well-informed of this strategy of how we will reform the healthcare in our country for a more prosperous country. You know, the World Bank told me, Dr. Herbosa, the Philippines will achieve high middle-income status by 2025. The sad part is, our health indicators are that of a low-income country. Di ba nakakahiya? Our maternal mortality, our fully immunized child, our level of malnutrition are that of a low-income country. Yet we build hospitals as grand and as modern as this. And our banking and financing system is comparable to high-income countries. So we definitely have not done something right. And as you know, the Department of Health has implemented several health reforms over the decades. The most significant of it was actually the passing of the Universal Healthcare Act in 2019. February 2019 po napasa at napirmahan ni President Duterte. A historical milestone for someone in health policy. I understood that it was the framework for where we will change and reform the Philippine health system through a legislative action. It would guarantee accessibility to quality healthcare to all Filipinos. When we signed the implementing rules and regulations, that was the hope and the dream. Unfortunately, in 2020, we were confronted with unprecedented challenges that brought about by the pandemic of COVID-19, and putting our commitment to universal healthcare to the test. It actually even highlighted the gaps of our healthcare system. Kulang tayo ng tama, kulang tayo ng doktor, kulang tayo ng nurse. So it actually highlighted how bad there was an infrastructure gap. But indeed, as we say, in every challenge, there is an opportunity for growth. Personally, I believe we are straddling in the most important opportunity in the time of our generation. The fact that I'm the lucky 30th Secretary of Health to implement the Universal Healthcare Act together with all of you. Sabi ni Winston Churchill, everybody stumbles across a golden opportunity at least once in a lifetime. Ito yung aking stumbling in a golden opportunity. I believe now is a golden opportunity. The environment is enabling, the ground is fertile. Firstly, we are tremendously enriched by our extensive experience and acquired knowledge through the pandemic. We can build and maximize on those lessons and expand our work and capacities. Second, we can capitalize on the enabling provisions of the Universal Healthcare Act. We can now act on reforms and issues that seemed to be impossible to tackle before. Third, We can bank on strong political support from both national and local leaders to achieve and drive health reforms and the health reform agenda forward. For the first time in history, ladies and gentlemen, I listened to a State of the Nation address that articulated 17 health priorities for more than 10 minutes. I've never heard a SONA like that. I think the President is sincere because when I met with him for things we wanted to put in the SONA, my expectation was usually a one-liner. And it's all about jobs, economy, infrastructure. But this President actually had a whole 10 minutes of a 30-minute presentation on health. Di ba dapat pumalakpak kayo dyan? Pero nalungkot ako after that kasi sabi ko sa mga taga-DOH, bilangin nyo nga yung directive sa atin. So nabilang nila 16, actually 16 lang yun. The following day, he went for Malaysia. He left for Malaysia. In the send-off, tinawag niya ako. Meron pa siyang 17 to build cancer centers all over the different parts of the Philippines. So nadagdagan pa. So we really are in a very opportune time. And on this hand, fortified with our experiences gained during the pandemic, our legislators and our local leaders learned about the value of health and understood the consequences of weak health systems, the result of indecision and inaction in addressing health problems and its detrimental impact on the economy and the social fabric of our society. O di ba? Madali na makipag-usap kay mayor, kay governor, kay senator, kay congressman when you talk about health. The aspirations of every Filipino is simple. Isang matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay. And with the current administration, these aspirations are further pursued through the Philippine Development Plan of 2023 to 2028. In the health sector, I am pleased to inform everyone that the health sector's medium-term strategy, the 8-point action agenda aptly called sa Healthy Pilipinas, Bawat Buhay ay Mahalaga, is now disseminated to Administrative Order 2023-0015. Pwede nyo i-Google yon to read the whole administrative order. The 8-point action agenda we're about to talk about is not just a set of goals. This agenda is designed to place Filipinos at the very heart of healthcare reforms, promoting community health, strengthening healthcare institutions, and worker welfare. It is grounded in humanistic leadership and good governance and a deep sense of service to our fellow men and countrymen and women. Our mission is clear, and I will say our, the Department of Health and the private sector healthcare stakeholders. Our mission is clear. We are here to serve the Filipino people. And this agenda is an embodiment of that commitment. So when you put out your money here and you spend for this money, I'm sure many of you thought about the profits. But out of the profits, there is the byproduct to actually serve the people of Butuan, Herbosa, and the Carabao region much, much better. It emphasizes a service-driven and people-oriented approach, ensuring the clarity of roles and collaboration among all stakeholders, public and private sector. I've long been in the DOH and the government, and they always shun going and working with the private sector. I tell them, that cannot happen now in universal healthcare. You need to engage the private sector. And the private sector should be the same. We should actually engage so that we can have a unified, inclusive approach to the development of healthcare agenda. This is not just about being informed about what's happening in the changes, it's also about empowerment. It is about equipping each and every individual, whether you're in government or in private, with the knowledge, the tools, and the commitment needed to play an active role and a vital role in transforming the health system of this country. I want to take this moment to acknowledge and thank all those who dedicated themselves tirelessly in the past, our healthcare workers who fought COVID, and all the other stakeholders, investors like yourself that put money in healthcare when the return of investment isn't that high. You can actually put your money elsewhere and you'll probably have a better rate of return. As we set out in this journey, let us keep in mind that we are shaping the future of healthcare in the Philippines. 40 ACE hospitals, congratulations to your dad. That's more than 4,000 beds. Because at 100 beds per hospital, that's about 4,000 beds. You are a major industry player in the field of healthcare already. The ACE group of hospitals. Palakpakan naman natin yung ACE group of hospitals. Together with the ACE group and the rest of the private sector, my dream is to build a healthcare system that is not just comprehensive, but also compassionate, affordable, efficient, equitable, and above all, one that truly cares for the well-being of every Filipino, every community, and every healthcare worker. I urge you all to actively participate, engage, discuss, embrace the opportunity to become champions of change within your organization and within the nation, the region, the province, and nation. Work together with a renewed sense of mission. We can reform the healthcare system. Our healthcare workers are prided as one of the best in the world. Pina-award sila sa UK. Pina-pilot sila sa ibang bansa. Yet, we can't be one of those proudest about the healthcare system. In the 60s, people would go to the Philippines to get healthcare. Today, they actually go to Singapore or Malaysia for healthcare system, or Thailand. Naiwanan tayo. So we actually have to work real hard to actually regain that commitment and that prestige. Once again, my call to the private sector, let's partner in the 8-point action agenda. Together,